guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So just here for another part of our kind of working with images from books. So I thought what we'd look at today is kind of making, you know, your book page pockets and things, which obviously, you know, Patricia Veramontes is absolutely queen of the book page pockets, but kind of making them incorporating the pictures from the books because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to always kind of make them with, you know, pure text kind of pockets, kind of like that, and then obviously embellish them. So I thought we'd have a look at making book page pockets, but actually incorporating the images from the books. So I've just taken some pages here so that I'm kind of speeding up the process and you're not all kind of having to sit just watching me, you know, because that would obviously be quite dull. So what I'm going to do is kind of just fold them up roughly where I want them to be. So I might glue this together so it's kind of just held in place a little bit. Just a bit of glue there, just so it's not moving around really. And then I might just trim down slightly so I've got a bit less of the kind of just, you know, book colour page. Now obviously, you know, if you watch my channel you'll know that my sewing machine's not here, so you know, again, I'm not going to probably sew these pockets, I'm just going to kind of glue them, you know, just to save me obviously kind of traipsing down, sewing them, coming back, starting the video again. So just going to kind of trim that round, you know, roughly kind of where we want it to be. And then I'm just going to kind of glue it together. So just run some glue across the top, you know, and obviously, you know, this is quite good for kind of people who don't have obviously sewing machines. You know, you don't necessarily need to be stitching things. I mean, obviously the stitching does look lovely, but you know, don't be put off if you don't have a sewing machine, or you're not comfortable with sewing, or you're not comfortable with sewing kind of with your machine with paper. I think you can achieve just as lovely results just using, you know, your paper and your glue. I don't think, you know, it's an essential to have a sewing machine, so don't be deterred kind of. You know, sometimes kind of I watch a video and I think, oh, I haven't got that, you know, but actually quite often, you know, it can look just as good using an alternative method. So I guess that's what I'm trying to kind of say here. Don't be put off if you don't have a sewing machine, or, you know, you don't feel comfortable sewing paper. You really, you know, you can get pretty similar results just using your glue. So, you know, I don't necessarily think it's the be all and end all to have a sewing machine. So, you know, yeah, they do produce pretty, you know, pretty results and nice things. But equally, you know, I think you can achieve similar looks just using glue. So, because often the stitches are kind of covered up quite a bit with decoration and things anyway. So, you know, it's not kind of essential necessarily to use the sewing machine. Right, let me just get rid of my rubbish from around the desk. Now I'm trying to be a bit more efficient recently and kind of do more than one thing at, you know, at once. So kind of make more than one of the same item. So what I'm going to do is kind of now do the same pocket, but basically using this page. So again, I'm going to just turn the pages over at the back so the text is then kind of right way up. And again, just going to kind of fold that like that. And then just going to glue that a bit, just to kind of hold it together like that. And then I'm just going to probably, actually I might not take any off of that one, I think. So I'm going to kind of cut this down to kind of a slightly better size. that. I've made a horrendous job of cutting that, but I'm going to cut this one along the top of the picture. In fact, I'm going to, I think, go in snug with the picture like that. Oops. Okay. So, I mean, this is a new thing for me as well. I haven't ever really made any like this either. So I'm going to fold that slightly higher, actually, so that I can just trim the top slightly. So I'm just going to trim that across here. Oh my gosh, what is going on with my cutting today? Not good. Sometimes it's better than others. Today is obviously not a good day. Right, so we're going to then just run some glue around the edges, obviously, you know, so that they're kind of not I mean, not that they're flapping around, but you know, so they're nice and neatly kind of stuck together. And I'll just glue down this edge as well. Like that. And then obviously take my other section, glue that together. Like that. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is kind of trial and error really, because I haven't ever really used images in this way myself. So, you know, kind of remains to be seen how they're going to turn out. But I don't see why they wouldn't turn out lovely. So, you know, if the pictures are nice that you're using, they should turn out nice. So we'll give them a try, and hopefully they're going to look good. It's just kind of an automatic thing, I think. I just kind of shy away from using the image ones for the pockets and just automatically go for just the text ones. And yeah, I think this is kind of, I think it's going to look nice. So I'll just trim slightly again down the edge just to neaten it up. Slightly down this edge. And then slightly across the top. And again, just by cutting kind of, you know, it's probably not even a millimetre off, you're hopefully getting into that glue a bit more, kind of, you know, so it's glued slightly better up to the edges. So that's that one. I mean, I think they look pretty nice already, to be honest, even without kind of being decorated up or anything. So I quite like them. Right, so this one, I've just kind of taken some of this book page and I thought we'll kind of use just a slither. So I think we'll go for this one. So I'm just going to kind of cut that down, you know, along the lengthways. Oops. Put that down. So I'm going to just trim this down slightly. Like that. Now, I haven't obviously reinforced this one yet, so I may do that because obviously it's not particularly thick. So I've just got some of my kind of plainer book page here. So I'll probably kind of just glue it afterwards. So just kind of pop that there. And then we just want to kind of fold this up and decide roughly where we want it. So if we wanted that there, we can kind of fold that down, which obviously then kind of thickens that pocket anyway. So we kind of have that like that, I think. I should have come down slightly more. Kind of right the way into that fold. So let me do it this way around. It's slightly easier to kind of get a grasp of where that needs to go to then. Right, so I'm just going to glue that down. And obviously on this one, as you can see, the text is wrong side. You know, wrong way up. The main reason is because this paper, I didn't want to kind of double thickness this one, as I have with the others, because I've just glued them onto the same book page. But this page, although I don't think it's thick enough to have it just on its own, it's not thin enough to double it, if you see what I mean. I think it would maybe kind of make it a little bit too thick. So, you know, that's why I've kind of done this way round. I think I've now still glued that in the wrong place. What is going on? Oh well. We'll just have to go with this now because I seem to have kind of mucked that up a little bit. So I'm going to now glue this onto that other book page. Just to kind of reinforce it. So, but this is obviously much more flimsy kind of page, so just going to be slightly better results, hopefully. Right. So just trim around that. And again, I just kind of come down slightly. That hopefully gets any bits that the glue have kind of not touched. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to now just glue my pocket down like that. So, I mean, they actually do make the cutest pockets, don't they? So, you know, I think I will definitely start incorporating kind of image book pages, because they do look very, very cute. I mean, obviously the disadvantage for this is, you know, if you're kind of wanting your journal to be a similar theme throughout, if you use this, for instance, it's not necessarily going to go with kind of a vintage ladies journal or something like that. So, I mean, I guess that's just something to kind of be aware of. But if you're making like a children's book journal or something like that, then, you know, it would be really great. So that's those. Now I'm just going to kind of decorate them up. So first of all, I think what I would do is just take my corner rounder and just round the corners of these, just to kind of neaten them up. It's not an essential thing to do, but you know, we'll just kind of tidy them up slightly. Oops. Just do the bottom as well. Not necessarily on all of them, but this particular one I just thought would look cute. There's that one. Do this one. Oops. And then we'll do this one. Oops, this one we must have not. Why did I just see something kind of flap? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just imagined that. I felt like I saw something kind of flap open, but never mind. So I've obviously missed this little bit here, so I'm just going to kind of glue down that section. Just go along this edge and see whether there's some bits I've missed here. So, oops, I'll just poke my glue in there. I like everything to be really glued. Don't know why, but for some reason that's a little thing that I seem to have going on. Right, so obviously kind of, you know, I am a little bit obsessed with kind of matchy things, so I'm just going to pull in the things that we've made so far using the you know, the book page images. So for instance, the Victoria Plum we've gone a lot with obviously the purple, you know, for the obvious reason of her outfit. And we've also kind of picked up blues and some yellows and oranges and things like that. So we're kind of incorporating quite a few different colours. You know, for me, the vintage buildings, we've kind of gone with these purples and things using my lovely lilacs paper, you know, paper line. And then the book page images from the, oh gosh, what's it called? The Little Animal Stories, the Enid Blyton images. We've kind of used images and papers from my Mary kit. Sorry, my mind went completely blank then. So because I kind of get a bit obsessed, I will probably keep with that theme. But obviously, you know, you may choose to kind of mix things up a little bit more. And that's fine, completely kind of your choice, how you want to kind of do them. So we'll kind of do these now one at a time so that we don't get kind of bogged down really with what we're doing. So if I'm kind of doing things sometimes, I like to sometimes just keep other things that I've made just in glancing kind of distance, you know, so that I can just kind of refer back and see what I've done and, you know, make sure that I'm kind of keeping it within the same kind of themes and things. So I'm just going to kind of do that really with this. So I'm just having a look. Obviously I've got more of those pieces here, so I'm just going to pull some bits in. Again, I mean, I'm not being kind of too choosy or anything. I'm just randomly picked up some of the bits that I just happen to have kind of cut out kind of beside me. So again, actually, these are some more of those pockets. So on the pockets, I just happen to have those kind of corner sections of the flowers. So I'm just going to kind of cut round those. Oops. Like that. You know, and this is where you could obviously kind of take flowers from, I don't know, magazine pages or, you know, birthday cards, gift wrap, things like that, you know, wherever kind of you can find nice images really. So I just happen to be using this because it's kind of on the floor beside me, you know, and I don't want to waste it. So, but of course you could kind of pick up your images from anywhere, you know, it doesn't have to be from a kit. It doesn't even have to be from, you know, anything remotely to do with kind of crafting. It could literally be from, you know, a magazine or something like that. So yeah, just something to kind of be aware of, I guess. Excuse me. You know, that your images really can come from wherever you like. So just quickly fussy cutting these flowers out. There we go. And obviously if I stick these in the corners, I would then go back round with my corner rounder and just round them once again. You know, oh gosh. I've just cut that bird, which is so annoying because I actually thought, oh, I might use that bird. And then I just kind of almost forgot that I'd thought that. And just straight away cut straight into him. I don't know what is going on sometimes. Right. There we go. Just cut around him. Now I'm going to have to check that I'm filming in a minute because where I'm doing lots of videos kind of, you know, ready for the summer, I'm kind of logging them up a little bit on my iPad. So I'm just aware that it's going to probably run out of space at some point, and I don't want to be kind of midway through the video, not notice, carry on filming for another kind of 20 minutes, only to find that it didn't pick any of it up, because that is so annoying when that happens. Right, I'll just cut this piece around. And I mean, I've said this before, I think this is just on copy paper, you know, for no particular reason other than these are kind of leftovers from where I've been obviously creating a kit. They just happen to be kind of bits that I'm, you know, I've printed over and over again kind of thing. So they're just laying around. So it's just great to kind of grab things and use them up, isn't it? So, yeah. So to me, just those little kind of bunch of items look really cute on there. So I'm just going to get gluing those down before I kind of overthink it and change my mind or anything else. I quite like having these little corner kind of clusters of flowers. They're quite handy for kind of just finishing off a corner of a tag or, you know, anything else really. Yeah, I find them quite useful. So, and obviously these were just cut from one of those pockets, but you know, again, probably just don't be deterred kind of if you've got some images but they're on the corner, don't kind of write them off as unusable, because I actually think sometimes those corner ones are the most useful ones. There we go. Put that on there. We've just got the bird. Him down with my tissue so I'm not kind of, you know, just getting the glue stuck all over me. Not that I mind especially, but I don't want to then kind of transfer it onto the next thing I touch, so that's why I'm kind of being a little bit fussy there. And I'm just going to kind of pop this glue down. I'm still persevering actually with this fabric glue, so just going to kind of try that there. Oops, I just put in the wrong lid on there. So we'll just pop that there. Again, just kind of glue that down like that. And then we haven't been using kind of diamante trim or anything like that on this children's book one, but we could kind of just incorporate a little flower or something, because we have been obviously using some of these little paper flowers, so we could kind of pop a little flower. I mean, I love using these kids books, I know I've said this before, but because I love using the colour, you know, this is just a brilliant excuse to kind of get all of your coloured pieces out and be able to kind of use those. So yeah, super fun. So I'm just going to hot glue that down. I know it's only a tiny little flower, but it's just, it kind of sticks it on there instantly, and then I don't have to worry about it again. So there we go. So that's your kind of book page pocket, but using a kind of image image book page. So that's that one, and obviously kind of goes with these little pieces here. So just a really cute collection of images there. So I'm going to pop those to one side and we'll work on the next one. So the next one obviously is our little Victoria Plum piece, and again I'm just going to kind of pull these in and have them kind of to, you know, to the side of me, just for kind of reference. Just, you know, I like to kind of remember where I was going with something, and you know, what I have been doing so far. That's just me, you know, and maybe you guys kind of don't really kind of need to do that, but I just find it quite useful for kind of reference really. So, you know, for me that's quite handy to do. Right, I might have a little bit more of the purple flower trim on this one, I think, because they look really good with that. And then let's have a look and see what else we could have. I'm wondering whether we should have one of these tickets, and if I just cut that down, because I don't obviously want the urn on there, but we could have the ticket kind of here with the lace going across there. Again, I'm just going to cut that kind of header piece off of that lace because I'm not that keen on that. something like that. Now let's have a look and see what else we've got here in my kind of little goodie stash that's kind of here beside me. So these are all just things that are left over from kind of previous videos, and I just haven't put them away yet. So they just happen to kind of be here, but you know, pretty handy that they are. So I've got that little teacup. Now I'm going to just try something here. I don't know whether this is going to work, but with my wild honey that we've been using with this, what do you call her, Victoria Plum pieces, I'm going to just try and ink it up and change the colour of it. I don't know how that will look, but let's just give it a try. Right, it looks quite cute, doesn't it? So I'm going to ink around the pocket itself, like that. I mean, again, it's just little things like this that kind of keep the continuity between the kind of pieces going. So, you know, kind of just by inking these up in the same colours, just pulls the pieces together somehow. You know, so it's kind of handy to do. Now for me, I feel like this needs a little bit of blue somewhere, just because obviously we've used those blue papers. So I'm just going to pull in some of the blue paper that we have been using, which actually I've got this one that I've already kind of been tearing into. So I'm just going to see whether we could kind of just have, you know, just a small torn piece somewhere, you know, just to bring a little bit of blue into the pocket, just for a little bit of kind of, again, continuity really between the pieces. So we just kind of have that there. We could have that there. To me, that just helps to kind of tie it in and kind of bring it in together. So I might just kind of do that. I'll ink around this as well with that wild honey. I do love this colour, I must say. I mean, you know, I think I said before, it's not obviously going to be suitable for everything because it is very yellow. But it is a really nice colour. And it's weird because I'm not really a yellow person. But it's strange how sometimes kind of the things that you think you're going to use all the time are a little bit tricky to use. I mean, I, for instance, bought, now I can't remember what the colour actually was called, but it was a very bright pink Tim Holtz Distress ink. I can't remember now what the colour was. I've still got it, obviously, because I've barely used it. And, you know, I'm quite a pink person. I quite like my pinks. But I've struggled quite a lot to actually kind of use it. So, whereas this, it's not a colour that I would kind of normally choose, but I feel like it's very useful and kind of, you know, goes and ties in with lots of things. Now, this is one of my teacups from my kind of bottles and teacups and things, you know, fussy cut pieces. What I like to do is sometimes kind of go in and just cut around, see where the handle is. Now, I'm not good enough with a craft knife to be able to go in and cut that away. But if you just snip in, if I bring that up, to the, you know, where the handle joins, you can cut around that. And when you glue that onto the piece, you're not even going to notice where you've cut that. So that's a little trick of how to get around, you know, kind of having like a white space, or, you know, what in this case would have been a yellow space, where there's a gap in the printed piece. So that's just kind of something that I, you know, that I find I like to do. So we'll pop that on there like that. And then I'm just going to stick this lace trim across there. Like that. I'm just wondering whether we want that purple flower or a different flower. Actually, I prefer this one, weirdly enough. Yeah, I think I prefer that one. So just going to glue that one down. I think just because it brings that blue again slightly more into it. So there we go, that's another little book page pocket, but using again, you know, the image pages from your book pages. And again, that's kind of another little piece with our Victoria Plum pieces. So they're just such cute images, aren't they? They're just yummy. She's such a cute thing. Right, so that's those. Now onto our final kind of images that we've been working with are the kind of buildings and the architecture and things like that, which again, you know, I love these, and I do use things like this quite often in my journals, but again, I haven't ever used an image as a pocket in itself, so this is kind of a new thing for me. So again, I've just brought in the couple of pieces that we've made so far, just going to kind of prop them up so that I can, you know, remember basically the kinds of things that we have done, just so that I'm kind of heading in the same direction really. So, and again, we've been using this paper line. So this was just from, again, my lovely Lilacs kit. So all I'm going to do is just, again, for the continuity kind of between the pieces, I'm just going to kind of tear that, and we're just going to kind of have a little bit of that kind of stuck somewhere. So I'll just tear that down. Now, do we want it coming out from that side or that side? So I might just do it down like that. So just kind of tear off that edge. We'll just have it kind of coming over from, you know, from that side, I think. So in the first instance, I'm just going to obviously glue that on. Like that. Okay, and then obviously, you know, we just want to have something else on there, maybe one or two other things, just so it's not kind of plain really. You know, so we could kind of have something like that. These are just, again, some little bits and pieces that I've just got here to the side from a previous video that, you know, I'm not overthinking it, I'm just kind of grabbing pieces basically. We could maybe have something like that on there. That's quite nice, isn't it? And really simple, really kind of quick and easy. And yeah, just looks kind of really quite effective kind of already. So what we could also do on this one is just do a little bit of stamping. So again, I've just got my black stays on. I was tempted to go for olive green actually to pick up the colour of that stamp, but I'm going to be boring and just go with the black. And I'm just trying to find one of my little favourite corner stamps. To go with my tiny one, which I love. So I'm going to kind of stamp that there. I'm just wondering whether I'm going to stamp it up here, I think. So I'm just going to kind of cover that up a bit, just so that if I stamp over, it doesn't stamp onto that piece of patterned paper. Just do it like that. Okay. That's it. And I'm just going to kind of pop these down like that, and like that. So I now need to just sort of wipe my ink pad a bit cleaner, because I've obviously been using that wild honey, which is pretty yellow, pretty bright. So I'll just dab that off so that I can use this obviously now with my vintage photo. So just check how that's coming out. My vintage photo is getting very dry now, which is a bit annoying. Might just try pouring some water on it actually, because it is quite dry. So I'm just going to pour a little drop. I don't know whether I'm on camera or not doing this, but I didn't know how much of a little drop that was going to turn out to be. So, oh gosh, look at the colour of it now. Much more juicy. Okay, right. Let me pop that in the bin because that's obviously now super juicy. Okay, just ink around that. Ink these little pieces, and then that little lilac one. I don't know whether the camera was even picking up that it was lilac, to be fair, but there we go. So that's that. Now again, excuse me, I've got a dry throat now. It's just because I've been doing kind of videos back to back, so I've got them, you know, to upload. So hence my throat's kind of beginning to go a bit dry. Right, let's try my eyelash trim. Okay. Just kind of thought that might be nice there. We could have that kind of maybe moved over a bit, and then I'll just chop off a little bit of lace. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to stick this one down. Like that. So I think I did say this in a video already, but I'm just going to kind of reiterate it really, is if kind of I'm even longer than usual kind of replying to anything, I mean I'm pretty poor anyway, but if I'm even worse than usual, it's because I'm away at the moment. So you know, I will be catching up with comments and emails and things like that, but you know, I don't know how great my internet access is going to be. I know that we certainly are having a whole week where we're not going to have internet access at all. So yeah, I just kind of want to kind of make people aware of that, because just in case I'm really, you know, coming across like I'm being really slack, it may be that actually I'm away and possibly don't actually have internet. So just kind of something to be aware of, I guess, really. Okay, I'm going to pop that down there. Again, just dab it with the tissue, kind of so it's sticking and not sticking all over me. Right, this one, I'm going to now glue this with the hot glue, I think, because, oh gosh, look at me. Right, because I want it to just glue instantly. Don't want to be kind of worrying about it not gluing, so just pop that there like that. I'm just going to press that with this because it's quite hot to touch for that first moment. There we go. Okay, looking super cute. So let me just check that I am still filming. Okay, so far so good. So I'm sure my iPad must be pretty close to running out now. So right, quickly trim some bling and then pop that on there because it just finishes it off really nicely. Oops. Might just have the bling here actually. I would normally kind of just put it to the side, but for some reason it kind of actually looks a bit better, I think, in the middle. There we go. Okay, so that's your other book page pocket with the images. So, you know, really nice way to kind of incorporate the book page images, I think, into your journals. And yeah, I think they all kind of came out really pretty. So I will bear that in mind myself for kind of future journals. And hopefully kind of see you all again in the next episode. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks, Em. Bye.